Hey guys, welcome back to another video, and today I'm here talking about AMD, whether this company is a buy, should you wait to buy the company, or is it a sell? So this is following their quarter two earnings results. The company is down pretty big actually. Not huge, but more than I'd like it to be, but you can see they almost dropped 10% for a little bit here. They were down 9%, but yeah. So without further ado, if you guys do enjoy this video, be sure to like it. Also subscribe to the channel. I'd really appreciate it. We just hit 300 subscribers. Thank you guys so much. And yeah, let's get right into the video. So we can see AMD is down post earnings. The results that they gave were pretty good. So I'm not worried that they're down, but we can see year to date, this company's been, running like no other. Past year they've been good. They were down 42%. Now they're up 22. So the past 3 months have been very good for AMD investors, up 68%. I've had a decent return on the stock all time, to say the least, and I haven't been in that long. So I'm very happy with my place in the company right now, but that's not why you guys are here. You're here to know if you should buy it, sell it, or, wait to buy it or hold it. So AMD beat on earnings. It was very weak guidance, but they beat. They beat on earnings. So let's look at their PowerPoint presentation about earnings. I think you can learn a lot from this. We can see that, their high performance and adaptive computing leadership. These are things that AMD puts in their different sectors of their business, but we see their large growth opportunities are the data center. This is what drives most of their revenue. This is very high demand. One of the biggest things for AMD as a stock, as a company, they have their client and gaming segment. This is where they sell their gaming equipment. They make CPUs, they make GPUs, they make a lot of things that gamers use to put in their computer. They make monitor. There's a lot of things AMD makes. And then also embedded, so the industry's broadest portfolio of adaptive and embedded computing platforms. This is more of a future thing, I think, but AMD still has a big part in that. So we can see a completion of acquisition of ZT Systems. I've talked about this in the past. If you guys are familiar with ZT Systems, this is an integrated computing company that they actually bought, recently, and this is very good for AMD. I'm very happy that they bought this. This is a company that their ZT Systems was the leading company in a sector that's projected to be worth in the tens of billions of dollars pretty soon here. So adding that on to AMD's already great valuation, it makes for a good stock. So we can see enabling new class of end-to-end AMD AI solutions based on AMD CPU, GPU, and networking silicon, open source AMD ROCm software, and rack scale systems capabilities. So this is a big thing, the ROCm, we're going to get into that in a second, or ROCm, whatever you want to call it, this is a big thing for AMD going into the future. You guys are going to see in a second, so just stick around. But this is big, it's an NVIDIA competitor, basically. But you can see the revenue, quarter two here, they beat. They're worth a lot more than they were last year, up 32% year over year. Their revenue growth driven by record sales of Ryzen and EPYC processors and higher semi-custom shipments. So this is interesting because their gaming segment has been down a lot over the past couple of years. So it's very interesting that that's what pushed their earnings here. We see their data center segment is still up year over year, 14%. Like to see it up a little bit more, but we can't complain, but the revenue is up, and we can see the AMD announced the ROCm 7 software with major upgrades across every layer of the stack, delivering more than 3 times higher inferencing and training performance compared to our prior generation. They're moving up. They're getting closer to NVIDIA. Client and gaming segment, we see this is up a lot, actually. So this is very good to see. They're up 69% year over year. That's really good. You can't complain about that. And their margins are higher. I don't hate that. AMD's looking very good. They're positioning themselves very well. Their embedded segment, they're down a little bit, but I'm not really worried about that. Like it says right here, the demand in the markets remains mixed, but that's a very small part of their revenue when you look at these other parts of their revenue of where the company's making money. They're up a lot. So I'm not that worried about that segment, but we can see their record revenue. Their data center segment is up 14%, gross margin 40%, and diluted EPS is 0.54. That's just kind of them talking about some things. But yeah, you can pause this, look at the financials. I'm not going to go over that in this video, but yeah, they had a solid earnings. So why are they down 5%? We're going to go, this is usually I don't go into this, but I don't know who this is. This user, abject-advantage528, had a very good Reddit post. I really like what he was saying. I was going to write these points down, but he said them for me. They're very great. So you can see the stock is down 8% today, but I believe the market has wildly overreacted on the data center miss and the quarter-over-quarter decline. I very much agree. This is a wild overreaction, and if we read some more comments down here, I mean, I fact-checked these. These are true. I know these are just random people on the internet, but where is it down here? So we can see, oh yeah, AMD missed right here, but we can see that actually, if you listen to the call, every metric from revenue to EPS included a statement showing that it would have been had, or it would have been, yeah, they would have made it if the China sales had been included. But we see right here the data center miss is due to the MI308 being restricted for sale into China. And a few weeks ago in July, the administration said they plan to grant AMD an exemption going forward, which will then remove that obstacle. So they're going to have that revenue stream again, and that's the only reason they missed. Now might be another great time to get into AMD. If you guys haven't realized so far, my consensus on AMD so far in this video is that you should buy it still. I think it's just, a discount on a stock that's worth a lot more still. Them missing on earnings wasn't actually a miss in my opinion. I think they missed numbers wise, but a lot of the things that they reported were actually I'm very happy with it. I think that their stock is going to reap a lot of benefits, especially next earnings, the earnings after that, and that, but especially get them before next earnings, because next earnings, when they have everything positioned how they want and they do get that exemption, and they're going to spike on that exemption, there's just a lot of things in the mix that you just got to, buy it now and just have time inside of the stock. So the main thing that I wanted to talk about in this whole video, the release of the ROCm 7 is AMD's answer to NVIDIA's moat that is CUDA, C-U-D-A. So AMD is positioning itself to reap the benefits of the inference computing cost between the majority of where CapEx will be spent in the future on AI. So companies are spending, this is what creates the AI bubble, in my opinion, is the amount of money that these companies are spending on AI. It's just absurd. If you look at Google's earnings, Meta's earnings, Microsoft's earnings, all of these companies are spending an insane amount on AI. And AMD and NVIDIA, companies like this that are providing the GPUs, the AI solutions, are making the money. Those are their number one customers. That's how these companies are making so much money, is they have these deals with the other companies, and they need to keep buying AI just to keep up with the next best thing. They need to just stay afloat. So their CapEx on AI is insanely large. They're spending an insane amount of money on AI. And that's where the ROCm 7 comes in for AMD. So AMD is getting closer and closer as time goes on. NVIDIA is not going to be the only company that has, these chips that are just untouchable. Right now they do. They still do. They have for a while. And this company, you can see right here, they've been very good at it. They've been very amazing company all the time. Just look at this. It's just insane that this company, they came out 2000, and then now they were worth less than 10 cents. Now the company is $181. They have the highest market cap in the stock market at $4.41 trillion. And yeah, they obviously a good thing. NVIDIA has a good thing going for them. But if we look over at AMD, they don't have a $4 trillion market cap. They have a $264 billion market cap. And so they're a lot behind NVIDIA, to say the least. They're not, they're pretty far off from where NVIDIA's at. Where AMD wants to be is not right here. But I think that now you get into AMD right here, and you're set up very well. You're set up very well for the future, because NVIDIA isn't going to hold that spot forever, and AMD is only getting closer and closer. And with them positioning themselves like this, so this is another thing I want to talk about. So think of NVIDIA as providing the supercomputers for generating the weather models, but AMD wants to be the iPhone that just shows the weather app. So this is a good analogy. It's a little confusing, but basically AMD is positioning themselves more for the future. So if you are buying AMD, this is a long-term investment. You're going to buy for, 3 to 7 years at least. And that's with all my investments. I have that thesis. I want to buy this company for at least 3 years. Maybe the company 5X's in a year, and then I don't have the same feeling about it anymore. then I'll get out of it. But I mean, that's all situational. But if the company does what I think it's going to do and they continue to do that, my thesis doesn't change on them, I want to hold them for at least 3 years, at least, just to have the growth, just to have them in my portfolio and see what the company does. I want to have them for that. So I think that if you buy a company, you want to buy it with the thought of having it for that long. If we keep going down here, a bit of tangent, but getting back to the ROCm7, it's 3.5 times more powerful than its prior version. That's a significant leap forward and shows that AMD will be gaining traction with hyperscalers like Meta. It's not a matter of if, but when. That's why I'm doubling my AMD position today at these discounted prices. So this guy's obviously a pretty big AMD bull. I don't hate it myself. I think that I am also a pretty big AMD bull. But at the same time, I feel like this isn't, not realistic. I think that AMD is at a discount right now. They just dropped because of their earnings. You can see they're down almost 7% in the past week. You could have bought AMD at 185. You could have, but now you can get it for 166, and you're getting the same company that just announced they have something more powerful that's competing with the biggest company that's worth $4 trillion. I think you may as well buy it for 20 bucks cheaper than what it was before, and now they have better things to back it up. I think that's not a bad idea. So I really would get into AMD right now. I think that it is a buy. I can confirm AMD is still a buy. I'm still holding my position strong. I'm going to add more to my position very soon here. And yeah, I mean, AMD is looking very good for the future. I think they're set up very well. Definitely really a big fan of Lisa Su and what she's doing over there. And I think that, there's a lot of things with this company that are just going better and better as time goes on, and they're just more things are just coming together. They're getting closer and closer to really popping. I mean, the past 3 months they've been up a lot. They've been up almost 70% the past 3 months, but they were up 82%, and I think they're going to be up in the 80s again pretty soon here. So I would get in right here while you can. I think that this is a great opportunity for, maybe even a swing trade. Maybe if we look at the options right here, the IV crush just happened. They're probably a little bit cheaper. If we take a look, I mean, I don't hate, around the 50-day out. If we buy a call on that, a little bit out of the money, maybe. If you can buy it in the money, do it. But if we buy a call, maybe a little bit out of the money, let's see. It's not loading, so it makes it a little bit harder to look at the option chain. But let's see, 44 days. Yeah, if we buy this for $300, I like that. I like that for $300. 185. We got a break even of 188. I think the company's going to be back up there, and I mean, if it's not, then I think in the next few days it's going to kind of bounce close to there. So I think you're going to make money on this option that just dropped 65% in value. And then you can even go farther out and see these options dropped a lot in value too, 38%, and they're still pretty, they're pretty cheap. These options are really cheap. This option dropped 40%, and then if we take even farther in the money, we can see, yeah, it drops less percent, but I mean, these options are a lot safer. And I mean, look, this one has a break even of $173. I think AMD is going to be worth, more than that next week. So I'd feel very confident about investing in an option like that. I might go for that play even. I don't think that's a bad idea. So yeah, guys, that's all I have for today's video. I hope that you do get into some AMD. It's my top holding for a reason. I very much believe in it. I put my money where my mouth is, and I really do think AMD is a great investment right here. There's a lot of great reasons, like their ZT Systems acquisition, their positioning on their balance sheet. They're very well, they're stable. They're not going to go anywhere. And the way that they're competing with the biggest company, and they have this name, but their market cap is so small, and their CapEx is, pretty much guaranteed to be spent on AMD for these big companies. So I really do like AMD right here. I think it's a great buy. I think that you're just getting the same company that was $185 for a discounted price now of over 20% of that off. So yeah, very good buy for or not over 20%, but around there. So very good buy. I think the AMD shot, you got to get into it right now. If you guys did enjoy this video, be sure to smash the like button. Also subscribe to the channel. I really appreciate you for watching. I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.